So this is the book of the Heart of the Dragon that I made finally made after 24 years. Here's the it started in 1989 really, and 1990, 1994, 2001 and 2014. It's about the dragon that we have in Washington State. Am I getting, yeah, I'm getting in front of it. The shape of the peninsula that I live on is a dragon facing east. It's East Jefferson County, and Chimacum, our village, or our location, is located precisely in the heart of the dragon. And this is the story from the native people here about a young boy who encounters a dragon, goes out to kill it, and it's a mix of illustrations from 1995 lithographs made in Estonia and more recent illustrations that don't really match, but hopefully it works because it had to get done. So long ago, on an island in Anderson Lake, there lived a dragon named Noquiklos. The ancient people kept far away from this place because the name meant demon, and they were afraid of this legendary monster. Young Corlo, here, was curious. And here are the villagers. Corlo as a boy, as a teenager, a young man, and grown man, and an old man, and some of the villagers that were taken from actual people who live near here. Native people. The young Chimacum warrior Corlo decided it was time to fight Noquiklos. He fasted to become pure and brave, and then set out to slay the beast. Corlo carried a yew wood bow, arrows, and a bone knife to his canoe and paddled across Anderson Lake to meet the demon. And that was the Chimacum Rock, which is called Tamanowas Rock or Chimacum Rock, is where the dragon lived in the caves. And Anderson Lake is just below it. When Corlo came to a steep stone cliff with caves at the base, he got out of the canoe. Inside the cave, Noquiklos flashed out at him. Eyes flashed out at him. Corlo fired many arrows at the points of light, but dragon scales protect against human weapons. I should move over there. It's okay, don't move it. Oh. But dragon scales protect against puny human weapons, and all the arrows were broken or deflected against Noquiklos' scaly armor. When Corlo shot his last arrow, Noquiklos came out of the cave. In desperation, Corlo took out his bone knife. He waited for the worst, but he stood his ground. He could see the sharp dragon tongue flicker in and out like a giant snake. Corlo was amazed that when that tongue licked his face. Corlo was lonely. Noquiklos was lonely for a friend. Centuries of fear had kept everyone away from her. Corlo and Noquiklos became friends for life. And here they are dancing around. Noquiklos is flying, and they're playing. Noquiklos accompanied Corlo to his home on the shore of Chimacum. This is Scow Bay in modern language, and helped him hunt and brought treasures from the sea. Soon Corlo became rich and powerful. This caused jealousy and gossip amongst the village people. They plotted against Corlo and planned to kill Noquiklos and take everything for themselves. They used bad medicine to create spells that would make this possible. Corlo and Noquiklos were surrounded by evil intentions, as Corlo fell into a drugged sleep. Noquiclos was more powerful than the villagers. She became very angry and used deadly rays from her eyes to see through their plans. She put an end to all the nonsense by killing the greedy ones. There was no mercy. Bad news travels fast. When people heard what had happened, they feared Noquiclos more than ever. Along with that fear came respect. They had learned their lesson. And here's the aftermath of the battle and the lithograph. And here's the peaceful image with the children playing near Noquiclos, being protected. It became known far and wide that Chimacum village had a powerful protector. No northern tribes dared attack the Chimacum or the Chimacuans to steal or to enslave because of what legendary Noquiclos would do to them. And here is a lithograph picture, and here's a later illustration with the dragon on top of the rock. So began an era of wisdom and wealth for the people of the dragon. They learned how to live in peace with each other and their enemies. By paying attention to Noquiclos, they came to understand the many secrets of forests, mountains, and sea. They had plenty of salmon to eat, and their stories became generous and filled with humor. And here are the people appeasing Noquiclos in the lithograph, and here is the more later image of the salmon cooking on the fire and people with abundance. When Corlo grew old and died, the villagers mourned him deeply. Their grief was genuine. Due to Corlo's courage and perseverance, great good fortune had graced all their lives. Noquiclos cared for the villagers, but she loved Corlo. When he was gone, she plunged into the waters of Walsh, Puget Sound, the old name for Puget Sound, and was never seen again. Until a few years ago, when it was noticed that the land Noquiclos called home had the shape of a giant dragon. Port Townsend is at the dragon's head. Chimacum is located in the heart. Quilcene sits on one hind leg here, and the other points to Hood Canal Bridge. This is the other leg. One leg, two legs. Marrowstone and Indian Island form the front legs, and the tail is the Tamanowas Peninsula. This is the map on the back of the watershed trading cards that people used to collect the cards and put the map together to discern the shape of the dragon. The Miller Peninsula is the wing, the head, the neck. Chimacum is in the heart. Front legs, Marrowstone and Indian Island. Quilcene, Hood Canal Bridge is here. The tail. And here, this is called the Raya number 17 map, the Quilcene Snow Water Resource Inventory Area. And this is a real map that shows the shape of the dragon very clearly. Here I've put comparison of the dragon myth to the dragon myths, both traditional and our own, indigenous and our Western culture contrasted. So the indigenous belongs to the place, whereas our Western culture wants to conquer the place. The indigenous learns to live by adjusting. Our culture makes others adjust. Indigenous assimilates difficult lessons, impose lessons on others for our own culture. The dragon helps Corlo. In our cultural myths, the dragon imprisons the princess. The dragon provides treasures in the indigenous cultures. The dragon guards the treasure in our culture. Cooperation brings lasting peace. Killing the dragon brings temporary peace. Those are big contrasts. The dragon is responsive in the indigenous view of world. Dragon is rigid in our world. The indigenous cultures follow a kind of a natural gift economy with sustainable livelihood. Our culture favors techno-market economy with resource exploitation. What are the lessons we can learn? So this is another view of a postcard, a heart of the dragon, Chimacum, and the shape of the dragon. And this is just a little bit. Oh, these were the philosophical ideas that occur in my art, Sara's art. Thinking and perceiving as an elder in order to sustain long-term human existence and culture. Mythologizing local ecology to create sculptural teaching. Teaching narratives. Translating classical folk wisdom into new contexts. Intentionally blurring the lines between community activism and art making, repairing the torn tapestry of Pacific Northwest ecology. This is the condensed version of what we try to do. And that's it. So this is a sofa salmon, but it's been embellished with buttons and pearls. And the sofa salmon is kind of a toy or a pillow, or no, it's sofa salmon. And there are big ones as well. They're about 5 feet long, but this is a small version. But it's very nice to hold. It's a soft, pillowy, wonderful shape on the back of your head if you're leaning back. And there it is. Here are some trading cards. They were sold in packages of about 4 or so. And inside you had a number of these cards, watershed trading cards, which had a puzzle on the back. And they were all parts of the elements of the watersheds. Water, elements of water, elements of hydrologic cycles, so that you got marshes, lakes, rivers, ocean, creatures of the deep, fish, birds, mammals, and so on. And here's what the poster looked like. Upside down. All the cards were cut off here, and you can see that here are birds, here are trees, here are mammals and amphibians and creatures of the water, and also water forms like groundwater and so on. And on the back you have the shape of the dragon with the head. Port Townsend is on the lower jaw here. Water Street is there. The neck. Here's the mill at the throat. Chimacum is in the heart of the dragon. The wing is the Miller Peninsula. Indian and Marrowstone Island are the front legs. Quilcene is here at the one leg, back leg, and here's the Tamanowas Peninsula, which is the tail, and here Hood Canal goes across here, and this is the other leg. So all the names on here are, as much as possible, the old Indian names, like Puget Sound was called Walge. And when people got the cards, then they put the cards together, traded them, had spontaneous trading parties on blankets, and then put them together and discerned the shape of the watershed, and there was prize in 3 categories for guessing or discerning the watershed shape. That led into Tracking the Dragon, which was a game, a community quest game, pardon me, that took you out into the watersheds with the idea that if you don't know where you live, then how can you love it? If you haven't been there, then you can't really love it. And so this was a book that was given out. These pages were given out, 1 set per month for 12 months, and it had all the elements of the watersheds. The hydrologic cycle, which made the watersheds. And so that you would do your own illustrations on 1 page. A graphic artist, a writer, and a sculptor would make the clues, and these were the shapes of the dragon tracks, which were about 2 feet long, that were made out of bronze and placed out into the watershed in East Jefferson County for people to find in public places. So then you would always have your place where you would make the book up yourself and show your experiences. And that's how we go through all the 12 steps of the hydrologic cycle and get and here's the map of all the placements of the dragon tracks, most of which have been stolen now and would be great to be replaced. Maybe in a material other than bronze, which is highly desirable. And so this was a public project that was funded by Puget Sound Water Quality Authority, and then they replicated the quest game with Tracking the Thunderbird, which is in neighboring Kitsap County. And they had the tracks be the track of the Thunderbird, which turns out to be the modern symbol for the county, which was kind of amazing. And so that was that. These are some artifacts. This is a chum hummer, which is like a bull roarer from the old days, which used to be used for magic. Then it was used to scaring people, and then it was a toy. The evolution or devolution of the artifacts. And it goes round and round, spins, and that makes a bull roaring sound. It's called a bull roarer, and it was just made in the shape of a salmon. These are chum charms. The community really made hundreds and hundreds of them and took them on trips and traded. The kids would trade them for other symbols from other people, from other communities. And they're little porcelain charms that are almost vitrified, so they're very sturdy, made out of porcelain clay, high fired, and there was a fun aspect of. Here's I forget his name, but we made these salmon. Well, we called them helmets because they looked like helmets, but they really weren't called helmets. What were they called?
Chum heads.
Heads. And we decorated them in different ways. There was a fellow that came up from Vancouver who actually gave us the pattern for it, and then we would color our own. Another interesting thing that we made, they were called hexaflexagons, and these are two-sided, as you see, but they change into a third-sided thing, and they're long strips that are folded in a certain way. And we had Rebecca Riverstone was sort of like a origami and flexagon maker, and taught us how to do these kinds of things. And so we had a lot of fun with putting salmon. 8th day of salmon, my true fish gave to me 8 beavers barking, and so on. You know, we can get the whole song on there. So it comes into 3 sides. You want to see these or not? Here's an example of salmon tails. This was mine. I put pink roses all over it because I had a pink skirt that went with it. And we have some awards here. The Order of Chum, which was a very special award that you could never get 2 because everyone in the world had to get one before you could get another one. That was the Order of Chum. Here's another example. This is Tom's tails, salmon tails. He painted them. Everyone painted their own, or embroidered or painted them. His is plain on the front. And they were worn with the salmon headdresses. I think that's it.